feels like the heart of Bali, full of jungle views, hidden waterfalls, stunning rice terraces, and magical temples. In this video, I'm showing you exactly how to spend 4 unforgettable days in Ubud with the perfect mix of adventure, culture, food, and relaxation. Day 1. Central Ubud Highlights. Morning. Campuhan Ridge Walk. Ubud wakes up fast, so get moving early to beat the swarm of scooters. Slip out toward the edge of town before the humidity peaks and start the first morning on the Campuhan Ridge Walk. The entrance is hidden right next to the Warwick Iba Luxury Villas and Spa. You'll cross a small stone bridge near the hotel entrance, past the temple, and watch the town noise drop off immediately. The path is a paved ridge trail stretching about 2 kilometers or 1.2 miles through hills of tall grass and scattered palms. It's a gentle climb that puts you right on the hilltop with wide views of the jungle on both sides. In the early light, the breeze moves through the grass and it feels like you found a secret pocket of the island that hasn't been touched by the gridlock yet. Access to the trail is completely free, and the walk usually takes about an hour for the round trip. Late morning. Subak Juwuk Manis. Once you've finished the ridge walk, don't head back to the main road just yet. Instead, navigate towards Subak Juwuk Manis. This is a hidden rice field path tucked away right off the main drag of Jalan Raya Ubud. The entrance is a blink-and-you-miss-it situation, so keep your eyes peeled for a simple sign pointing down a narrow alley. Keep walking past the local houses and don't stop when things start looking rural and quiet. That alley eventually spits you out into a network of dirt trails that weave through electric green rice paddies. This isn't just for show. These fields still run on the traditional Subak irrigation system. It's an ancient, cooperative farming setup that's been the backbone of Bali for centuries. You'll see the small canals moving water between the paddies while farmers work the land and ducks forage through the mud. It's a 1 kilometer or 0.6 mile loop that feels miles away from the tourist shops despite being just a few minutes from the center. Insider tip. There are a couple of small organic cafes along the path where you can grab a fresh coconut for about $2.50 while watching the farmers work. Afternoon. Lunch at Cherry Pepper. For lunch, pull over on Jalan Monkey Forest and grab a seat at Cherry Pepper. This spot specializes in a fusion of global favorites and Indonesian-inspired dishes, offering massive portions right across from the art market. You should order the nasi goreng ayam kemangi, a Balinese version of fried rice cooked with chicken and fresh basil, then topped with a fried egg. Another heavy hitter is the kare Bali, which is a rich yellow coconut milk curry loaded with local spices and served with a side of steamed rice. A full lunch, including a main dish and a fresh juice or local beer, will cost you between $10 and $15 per person. Ubud Art Market. Once you've fueled up, dive straight into the beautiful chaos of the Ubud Art Market. This place is a total sensory overload in the best way possible, with stalls crammed into every inch of the center square. You're going to see stacks of silk batik fabrics, those signature round-woven bags, and intricate wood carvings that look like they belong in a museum. The best part is that most of this gear is crafted by artisans in the neighboring villages, so you're getting the real deal. Just remember that the price tag is never the actual price. Bargaining is practically a local sport here, so don't be shy about haggling for a better deal. The market keeps the energy high from 8 in the morning until about 5 in the afternoon, and while it's free to explore, your wallet will definitely take a hit once you see the craftsmanship. Saraswati Temple. Just a few steps away from the market chaos, you'll stumble into a scene that hits differently. Saraswati Temple, or the Ubud Water Palace, is an absolute stunner dedicated to the Hindu goddess of wisdom and the arts. The first thing you'll notice is the massive lotus pond stretching across the courtyard. You can actually see the blossoms and the front of the temple for free from the entrance, which is great for a quick look. But to really get into it, you'll want to pay about $4 for full access. This lets you walk the stone bridge that cuts through the water, putting you eye level with thousands of flowers before you reach the heavy, hand-carved gates. Late afternoon, Ubud Palace. Right in the center of the main intersection, you'll find the stone gates of Ubud Palace, locally known as Purisaran Agung. This was the official home of the Ubud royal family, and it still carries that heavy, regal energy today. It's one of the town's most iconic landmarks and feels like stepping back into the early 19th century when it was first built by the ruler Chakorda Putu Kandal. The first courtyard is completely free to enter, so you can just wander in and get a close look at the insane stonework. You're going to see guardian statues standing watch and massive detailed carvings that cover every gate and shrine in the square. While the royal family still keeps the inner living quarters private, the main ceremonial courtyard is wide open for you to explore the classic Balinese architecture. Evening, traditional Balinese dance show. Don't leave the palace just yet. The best part is about to start. As the sun goes down, the courtyard transforms into a stage for a traditional Balinese dance show. It's hands down one of the coolest ways to see local storytelling come to life, and the atmosphere with the palace lit up behind the performers is unbeatable. The dancers are incredible, moving with these sharp, precise gestures and intense eye expressions that tell ancient stories from Hindu epics. You'll have a live gamelan orchestra right there too, filling the air with those hypnotic metallic rhythms and drums. The show kicks off at 7:30 in the evening and usually lasts about 90 minutes. Tickets are about $6.25 per person, and you can easily grab them at the entrance or from the local sellers walking around the palace gates earlier in the day. Insider tip. The seating is first come, first served, and it fills up fast. Aim to get there by 6:45 in the evening to snag a spot in the front rows so you can actually see the insane details in the dancer's costume and finger movements. Dinner at Tropical Restaurant. Wrap up your day at Tropical Restaurant on Jalan Monkey Forest. This place has a great open-air setup that lets you soak in the Ubud night air while you eat. The menu's massive, mixing local Indonesian staples with grilled seafood and steaks. You've gotta try the tropical nasi goreng. It's their signature fried rice that comes loaded with chicken satay and crispy shrimp crackers. If you're feeling more adventurous, go for the bebek betutu, a classic Balinese slow-roasted duck marinated in a heavy spice paste until the meat falls off the bone. Depending on what you're craving, most main dishes will run you between $5 and $12. Day 2. Rice Terraces and Temple History. Morning. Ubud Jungle Swing. Start your second morning with a massive rush high above the canopy. Head just outside Ubud into one of the jungle swing parks where giant ropes hang right over the valley edge. Once you're strapped in, you'll be launched straight out over the trees for a legendary view of the forest and rice fields below. It's the ultimate way to grab those famous Bali photos where you're literally flying over the landscape. Most spots charge between $20 and $35, depending on how many different swings and photo nests you want to try. They've got safety harnesses and crews handling every launch, so you can just hang on and enjoy the adrenaline. Late morning, Tegalalang Rice Terraces. Once you're back on solid ground, make the short trip over to the Tegalalang Rice Terraces. These are the legendary stepped fields you've seen all over your feed, and they've been using the same subak irrigation system since the 8th century. You can hike right down into the heart of the paddies on narrow paths that weave through the different levels of the hillside for a 360-degree view of the valley. Entrance is only about $1.60, but definitely keeps some small change in your pocket. As you wander deeper into the fields, you'll likely run into a few local farmers at small checkpoints asking for a tiny donation to help maintain the paths and water channels. The terraces are officially open from 6 in the morning until 6 in the evening, giving you plenty of time to get lost in the greenery. Afternoon, lunch at Tiz Cafe. Time to refuel with a view that's actually hard to believe. Pull up a chair at Tiz Cafe, which is built on multiple levels right along the edge of the Tegalalang Terraces. Since the whole place faces the valley, every single table has a front row seat to the greenery and the infinity pool. The menu's a mix of fresh international plates and Indonesian favorites, so you can grab anything from a tuna poke bowl or avocado toast to a classic plate of fried rice. For a full lunch and a drink, you're looking at about $15 to $20 per person. It's a bit pricier than the local stalls nearby, but you're paying for that incredible view right at your table. Gunung Kawi Temple. Once you're done with lunch, head northeast toward the village of Tampak Siring to find Gunung Kawi. This 11th century monument is one of the most legendary historical sites on the island. To get there, you'll head down a long stone staircase that winds through palm trees and rice fields until the valley opens up to reveal the temple complex carved directly into the cliffside. It's an incredible sight. 10 massive shrines, each about 7 meters tall, are cut straight into the rock wall. These ancient monuments are believed to honor King Anak Wungsu and the Balinese royal family from nearly 1,000 years ago. Entrance to the grounds is about $3 per person, and since it's a sacred site, you'll grab a provided sarong at the gate to cover up before exploring the shrines. Late afternoon, Pura Tirta Empul. Dive into the spiritual heart of the island at Pura Tirta Empul. This isn't just any temple, it's one of Bali's most active holy sites, famous for a crystal-clear spring that's been bubbling up for over 1,000 years. Inside the courtyard, you'll see people lined up in the purification pools, moving through a row of stone fountains to wash under the fresh mountain water as part of an ancient cleansing ritual. Entrance is about $3. Just like the other sacred spots today, you'll need to wrap a sarong around your waist before heading in to observe the ceremony or explore the inner shrines. Insider tip: if you're planning on joining the ritual and getting in the water, head to the lockers first. You can rent a specific green sarong for about $1 so you aren't stuck wandering the rest of the day in soggy clothes. Evening. Dinner at Ili's Kitchen Ubud. Wrap up your second day by driving into the menu at Ili's Kitchen on Jalan Sueta. This spot has a laid-back, modern feel and serves up some of the best Asian fusion comfort food in town. You'll find a mix of elevated Indonesian classics and regional favorites that hit the spot after a long day of exploring. You've got to try the nasi goreng pork belly or the beef kwetiao if you're craving some flavorful stir-fried noodles. If you're looking for something a bit lighter, the barramundi filet is cooked to perfection. For a full dinner and a drink, expect to spend between $15 and $25. If you have any room left, the coconut crepe Suzette or their modern klepong cake are the perfect way to end the night on a high note. Day 3. Waterfalls around Ubud. Morning. Kanto Lampo Waterfall. Get ready because today is all about chasing the most stunning waterfalls around Ubud. This region is world famous for its hidden jungle cascades, ranging from massive thundering drops to tiered rock walls. It's the perfect way to cool off and see the wilder, tropical side of Bali away from the town center. The first stop on your list today is Kanto Lampo, located just a 20-minute drive south of the center near the village of Beng. This isn't your typical vertical drop. The water actually cascades down a massive tiered rock wall, fanning out across the stone steps like a natural sculpture. It's an easy stroll from the parking lot down to the short set of stairs to the riverbed, where you can climb right onto the rocks to get under the spray. Entrance is only about $1 per person, making it one of the most accessible spots to cool off and see the wilder side of Bali. Insider tip: this spot is famous for those superhero waterfall shots. If you're feeling brave, wade into the water, it's only waist deep, and hand your phone to the local guides standing right on the rocks. They're absolute pros at finding the perfect angle for your photos. Brunch at Ngali Resto. After your first waterfall fix, it's a quick 10-minute hop over to Ngali Resto. This spot is owned by a MasterChef Indonesia finalist and features a massive, airy layout perfect for drying off before the next adventure. The menu blends Indonesian comfort food with Western classics. The chicken skewers are a standout for being exceptionally juicy, or you can go for the fettuccine chicken Alfredo if you want something hearty. For a local favorite, the grilled prawn skewers with dabu-dabu sauce are the way to go. For a full brunch and a fresh juice, expect to spend between $10 and $20 per person. Late morning, Tibumana Waterfall. Next up is Tibumana Waterfall, located near the village of Apuan, about 30 minutes from Ubud. A well-maintained path leads you down through the jungle, crossing bamboo bridges and small streams before opening up onto the valley. Tibumana is known for its symmetry, dropping in a single narrow column into a calm swimming pool below. The rock wall forms a natural semicircle around the falls, making it one of the more photogenic and tranquil spots in the area. Like the previous stop, entrance is only around $1, which you'll pay at the small ticket booth at the trailhead. These fees help the local village maintain the paths and facilities. Insider tip: since the pool at the bottom is relatively shallow and the current isn't too strong, this is one of the best spots for a swim. Just make sure to bring a towel, as the changing facilities are located back up near the entrance. Afternoon, Tukad Cepung Waterfall. Next up is Tukad Cepung, a short drive from the previous falls into the Bangli region. This is arguably the most unique spot of the day because the waterfall's hidden inside a cavern. To reach it, you'll follow a forest path down into a narrow canyon where the rock walls close in around you, making the sound of the water echo as you get closer to the fall. The real draw here is the atmosphere. When the sun hits the opening at the top of the canyon, beams of light cut through the mist, creating a spotlight effect over the water. Insider tip: timing is everything here. To catch those famous light beams, you'll want to arrive between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. when the sun is directly overhead. Also, prepare to get your feet wet, as you'll be walking through a shallow stream inside the canyon to reach the base of the falls. Afternoon, Gajah, the Elephant Cave. On your way back toward Ubud, you've got to make one last stop at Gajah. This 9th century temple complex is home to one of Bali's most iconic sights, a massive, menacing stone facade carved directly into the cliffside. You actually walk right through its open mouth to enter the cave. Inside, it's a total mood. Dark, atmospheric, and filled with ancient stone shrines tucked into the walls. Once you step back out into the light, the grounds open up into a beautiful courtyard with a huge purification pool. You'll see water pouring from the stone statues held by figurines lining the edge, which is still used for traditional cleansing rituals today. Entrance is around $3, and they'll hand you a sarong at the gate, so you're all set to explore the sacred grounds. Insider tip: most people just snap a photo of the cave and leave, but don't make that mistake. Follow the stone steps leading down past the main courtyard. You'll find a hidden, jungle-choked area with mossy ruins and ancient carvings that feels like something straight out of an adventure movie. Evening, dinner and drinks at Twist. Wrap up your waterfall chasing day at Twist, a popular spot in central Ubud known for its laid-back atmosphere and excellent fusion dishes. It's the kind of place where the food's creative, but the vibe stays totally casual, making it a solid choice for when you want a great meal without any formal fuss. The menu's full of unique takes on comfort food, which is where the name comes from. You have to try their honey ginger chicken or the babi kakap, which is a savory Balinese braised pork if you want something local. If you're leaning more Western, their gnocchi and burgers are top tier. Most plates fall between $6 and $10, while their signature cocktails are usually around $7 to $9. It's a great spot to grab a drink and toast to an epic day. Day 4. Ubud Nature and Culture. Morning, Get Bali Cycling Tour. Start your final day early in the morning with a deep dive into the countryside north of Ubud. Get Bali Cycling runs guided tours that'll get you away from the crowds and onto quiet village roads that most people completely miss. The day kicks off with breakfast overlooking the Mount Batur volcano and its crater lake. After a quick stop at a coffee plantation to see how local beans are grown and roasted, you'll hop on your bike for a rolling downhill cruise through traditional villages, fruit orchards, and massive rice fields. Along the way, your guide stops to explain everything from how the temple systems work to what daily life is like in the local schools. The route wraps up at a Balinese family compound for a huge home-cooked traditional meal. The full experience usually costs between $30 and $45, which includes your transfers, gear, and all the food. If you're not feeling the bike ride but still want to see those exact spots, a private car tour is a great alternative that covers the same cultural stops without the pedaling. Afternoon, Sacred Monkey Forest Sanctuary. Before the day winds down, head over to the Sacred Monkey Forest Sanctuary in the southern part of central Ubud. This massive conservation area is a spiritual site that protects over 1,000 long-tailed macaws and more than 100 different species of trees. The whole place feels like an adventure movie. You walk through dense jungle along stone pathways lined with moss-covered statues, ancient bridges, and hidden shrines. There are 3 main temples inside, including the 14th century Pura Dalim Agung Padang Tegal, which serves as the heart of the complex. It's the best spot in town to see Balinese Hinduism and nature literally growing together. Entrance is around $6 for adults on weekdays and closer to $7 on weekends. The ticket office usually stops letting people in about an hour before the forest closes for the evening. Insider tip: the monkeys here are famous for being bold. Keep your sunglasses, hats, and any loose snacks tucked away in your bag before you enter. If you want a monkey selfie, there are trained staff members around who can help you get the shot safely without the monkeys getting too grabby. Evening, dinner at Lakaleke. Just a short walk from the monkey forest, Lakaleke is the perfect spot to wind down for your final night. You'll dine in open-air pavilions tucked away in a huge garden filled with lily ponds and torches, giving you that quintessential Balinese atmosphere. The menu is all about local soul food, and their crispy duck is the legendary must-order. If you want a bit of everything, go for the nasi campur, which is a platter of different traditional specialties. Most main plates are priced between $6 and $10. What makes it special is the live cultural performances like the kakak fire dance that happen right in the gardens while you eat. It's a pretty magical way to say goodbye to Ubud. Useful info for spending 4 days in Ubud. Best time to visit Ubud. Target June to August for your trip. These months hit the sweet spot, sunny, breezy, and relatively dry compared to the heavier tropical downpours. Expect daytime temperatures between 26 and 30 degrees Celsius, which is about 79 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. While the shoulder months of May and September are also great for avoiding the biggest crowds, try to avoid January and February. Those are notoriously wet with sudden afternoon rain that can turn jungle paths into mudslides in minutes. City airport tips. Most international flights land at Ngurah Rai International Airport, which is about 35 kilometers or 22 miles from Ubud. There are no trains here, so your best bet is a private car. The drive usually takes between 1 and 2 hours depending on the notorious Bali traffic. If you want a car, use the Grab or Gajah apps. A ride to the center usually runs between $20 and $30. Avoid the freelance drivers hanging out in the arrivals hall. They're a guaranteed scam and will overcharge you by double. For a smoother arrival, it's usually worth it to message your hotel ahead of time to have a driver meet you with a sign. Where to stay in Ubud? Ubud Center is your best central bet. It's the high-energy heart of town, putting you steps from the art market, the palace, and the best cafes. High-quality boutique hotels run between $40 and $90. It's the busiest district, but it saves the most travel time. For a more polished feel, look at Sayan. This area overlooks the Ayung River and is filled with luxury resorts and jungle greenery. Prices sit between $150 and $300. It's much more secluded and quieter at night than the center. For heritage vibes, head to Nya Kuning. This spot is packed with traditional family compounds and quiet, leafy streets. Rooms generally run from $30 to $70. You're paying for a calmer, authentic atmosphere right behind the monkey forest. How to get around Ubud? Ubud Center is compact, so walking's your best friend for short trips. It's the most reliable way to skip the legendary local gridlock and jump between shops and temples. For longer hops, use the Grab or Gajah apps. They're the local version of Uber and eliminate the need to haggle. A short 3-kilometer ride usually costs about $2 to $4. If you hire a private driver for a full day of exploring, it typically runs between $35 and $50. Avoid renting a car. The roads are a maze of narrow one-way loops and parking is a nightmare. For a cheap and fast way to zip around like a local, rent a scooter for about $7 to $10 a day. Where to eat in Ubud? Ubud's food scene is a heavy-hitting mix of Balinese tradition, farm-to-table innovation, and world-class health food. For an authentic local experience, head to Sunsun Warung. Tucked away in a traditional family compound, it's as real as it gets. Order the nasi campur, which is a sampler of Balinese favorites like satay, spiced vegetables, and tempeh served around a cone of rice. It's a no-frills, beautiful spot where a massive plate and a fresh juice will only set you back $5 to $8. For a high-end night out, book a table at Locavor NXT. This is consistently ranked as one of the best restaurants in Asia, focusing exclusively on Indonesian ingredients with incredible storytelling and plating. It's the ultimate splurge for foodies, with multiple course tasting menus running around $115 to $150 per person. Finally, for a killer vegetarian spot, find Sayuri Healing Food. They serve raw and lightly cooked plant-based food that's fresh, creative, and packed with flavor. The Ocean Bowl and their famous raw desserts are favorites. A full healthy meal here is a steal at around $6 to $10. And that's how you spend 4 unforgettable days in Ubud. From peaceful temples and emerald rice terraces to hidden waterfalls, jungle cafes, and unforgettable Balinese culture, Ubud really is one of those places that stays with you long after you leave. If this guide helped you plan your trip, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments which part of Ubud you'd want to experience first. And stay tuned, because in the next video, we're heading somewhere completely different for another incredible adventure. See you in the Nusa Islands!